today, I was thinking maybe we could talk about endurance.
Absolutely.
Enduring and specifically running the race, finishing strong.
Yeah.
Lekker. We're live. We're going to do this like this.
Yeah.
I'll say, hello everybody. We're recording on a cellular device. Trying something new.
Yeah.
Cool.
All forgot the right thing.
Yes, I forgot the right thing, but we're making do.
One or two.
See, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe this works better.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how that works.
Absolutely.
We just came off of a hunt, which was flippin' amazing. So look out for the next podcast. Maybe next week we'll talk about that. It was very awesome. It was lekker. It was cold.
Challenging.
We walked far, but
in the rain.
The details in the next video. Check that out. So today, I was thinking maybe we could talk about endurance.
Absolutely.
Enduring and specifically running the race, finishing strong.
Yeah.
We're like young men. We're strong in the Lord. We want to do what Jesus wants us to do, and
we still have lots of time.
Yeah, we still have lots of time. We still have 30 to 50 years of race ahead of us if Jesus doesn't decide to come before then.
Yeah.
And how do we plan on enduring? How do we plan on sticking around and having a good testimony and having a good report after so long? Because I think that's one of the biggest difficulties in life is just being consistent.
Yeah.
So what do you have in your life, like maybe principles or?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. On a different note, I was watching a program and they got engaged. This whole program about whether they're going to get engaged or they're going to break up, kind of thing.
Yes.
And obviously the one guy made it, and he made a valid like they're obviously non-Christian, they're not based in the Lord, kind of thing. But he made this valid argument for things saying it wasn't that he didn't like her or didn't love her. It was a case of he wants to get married. He wants to get married once. He doesn't get divorced, right? So he's got to make this decision for the rest of his life. How do you make a decision for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
How do you make that starting decision?
Yeah.
And I kind of think, like, as becoming a Christian, we don't think about that.
Yeah.
We become a Christian because of our time, our moment with God, or our experience, or our call. Or
it's oftentimes an emotional decision.
Exactly. So there we go. Now we've made that decision. Now this is a lifelong relationship.
Yeah.
Now I think, you married, I'm not, so you would have more experiences, but that decision, that relationship, that relationship is going to be for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of, we're talking about average life, we're not talking about, one of you dying earlier or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's like how would you look at that and go, how am I going to survive to the end of that?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, going, I want to walk this faith, I want to walk this line, I want to do these things for God. I want to do it for the next, so I'm 35, so let's say another 55 years.
Yeah.
That makes me 90, okay?
Yeah.
So 80 is the average age, but let's make it 90. How do I do that,
Yeah.
Is there a 10-step goal? Do you set goals every 10 years? It's kind of like looking at your relationship going, well, for me, I'm like, I built a relationship with God and I continue to build a stronger one with Him all the time. I've got to see Him as someone who's around me, not someone who's far away. I've got to see Him as someone I can talk to, someone I can see.
Yes.
And that being said, I have to work on. There are times when it's I slack off or I feel like there's the distance. I've got to constantly work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a decision you made. Yeah. I think back to relationships, because like you mentioned, I'm married, so I had an opportunity a couple of times to pursue relationships when I felt like, I can't fully commit forever for this. I'm not going to do it, and I didn't even start with it. And I think that you might also have more experience with relationships than what you think, because if someone said to you, doesn't matter who you marry, get married within this year, I think that'll be like the easiest thing. You can get married next week probably. You can go find someone and get married.
Yeah.
So the
100%.
fact that you haven't means that it's like actively choosing not to make that decision or make the decision to say, okay, listen, I can't commit for life. And I think that's very wise. That's a very healthy thing, because oftentimes, like in your Christian walk, like you commit to the Lord, you commit to Him, but then committing to the works of the Lord. committing to different ministries, committing to different events in church and stuff like that. That can become quite difficult, and you have to use a lot of wisdom where you commit and where you don't commit.
Yes.
And I think that's something that people don't talk about often. They say you need to commit, to church, you need to commit to going, whatever. Sure, but what if you commit to stuff and then you can't keep to your commitment, and you let a whole bunch of people down, or you just at the end of the day, it's going to hurt the good report that you are trying to build in the Lord. You're going to hurt your testimony, because people might see you as, this guy is just a flake, or he doesn't hang around, or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I think you've got to. I think in that you've got to evaluate your relationship with the Lord and your ministry.
Yes.
If you're looking, or not your relationship with money, but your ministry, and go, is it positive? Are we on an upward spiral, or we're on a plateauing, or we just chilling? And there's nothing wrong. I think, especially when it comes to relationship with God, there are times when He's like, bro, just chill, and ministry as well. He's like, just chill.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing is working. I've got something coming for you in a month's time, or whatever, 6 months time, or a year, or whatever it might be. But I think you have to continuously do this, because I think if you don't, you will look back and go, 10 years have gone by and nothing has happened, or I've backslidden, I've fallen away, I've not fallen away, but things are not where they could be,
Yes.
I think it's also important to do goals. I mean, we have them. I have them with youth ministry and whatever. I'd like to see this. I'd like to have that done. I'm trying to do this. We're starting up an evening service or a senior youth service in June, and these are all things that now when I go into this, there's a new aspect of my relationship with God and my ministry for me to work on, and which helps to grow that, if that makes sense.
I think it's good to stay involved.
Yeah.
But just wise to choose where you get involved.
Exactly.
I mean, churches have a lot of things going on, which is a very good thing, because there's more options for new believers to come and join in. But
exactly.
you try and get involved with all of them. Sometimes you'll burn yourself out, or it's not going to go.
I'd almost say you're guaranteed to burn out.
Yeah.
I think there's a place where God calls you, and that's where you must focus.
Yeah.
If you can do like for example, I'll use myself as an example. On a Sunday morning with a Sunday school, or children's church, whatever you want to call it, I am involved, but I'm not doing it every Sunday. I'm on the roster, but even the last 3 times I've been on the roster, I haven't. 2 of them I wasn't able to do because I was my commitment with the worship team.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of higher. It's youth worship team.
That takes priority.
Yeah, that takes priority, kind of thing. So. I think getting into the Word as well.
That's a very important.
Finding a way to. Like for me, I love the morning devotionals. And no, I'm not talking about 5 o'clock in the morning. Sitting by myself. My morning devotionals I do with my students, because I have a devotional book that has it. Often I'll read a scripture and talk about what their little lesson they've given or their story. And it's a light bulb moment for me, or a reminder moment for me of the scripture that I've read 100 times. Or a new way of seeing it, and God's like boom, and it keeps refreshing that relationship.
I was listening to something this morning actually about hearing or identifying God's voice, and the person said that God's or identifying or discerning God's voice comes out of knowing Him. And I think that's such an important thing. Like you need to like the starting point, the foundation of our Christian faith. Is the Bible. Like everything is in there. Jesus' life, Jesus' crucifixion, His resurrection, God's nature in the Old Testament, God's nature in the New Testament, all of the prophetic things, everything, how He dealt with people, all of that, like His character, knowing Him. Someone said it so beautifully. They said that the Bible is essentially a love letter from God to us. We need to hear it, listen to it, read it, and find out what it was. Who is this God that we serve? Who is this God who created us?
Absolutely.
And I think there's so many people that don't read their Bible, and they ask, why is God not speaking to me and stuff. And I think that you don't have to read the whole Bible every day, but you need to get in the Word. I feel like there's a special division in hell specifically directed to make Christians not read the Bible.
Yeah.
Like they are there to
Yeah.
make it boring and monotonous and not lacquer and whatever, so that Christians won't read the Bible and get the truth and understand who God is. Because if they understand who He is, they will hear Him more and they'll be more obedient, and that's detrimental to the devil's kingdom, you know. So I think getting into the Word is so important.
Yeah, I think, and the other point that you brought up now is that, and I always say this all the time: get to know God's character.
Yeah.
We do this via the Word.
Yes.
I would not suggest you start at Genesis and try to read through to Revelation. Go and read, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Go and read Acts,
The book of James.
Then jump across and read, Kings, where there's history and there's action and there's all these things. Go and read Genesis. God created the world, and listen to, read it, and take it at face value. As in, if He says the sun rose and sunset day one, don't think that He's thinking that a day for you is 1,000 years. It's not. It's a day.
Yeah.
Yes, He's unending in time, but don't get those concepts mixed up.
Yeah.
To go and think of your father. Think of a good father. If you don't have a good father, think of. We've seen TV programs and movies where they are great parents and whatnot. Think of that's what God's like. Would He do this to me? Would He want something? I was asked a question today. What do you do if you've been praying for something and it hasn't been happening? Well, I'm like, you continue praying. Well, it says, pray unendingly until the Lord answers your prayers.
Yeah.
But it says that it's in line with His word.
Yeah.
In line with His will.
Yeah.
Understand that His will for us is the perfect and good will. And not what we think. We think of that as financial, or we think of that as wealth, or we think of that as healthy. No, His will might be for me to get sick. But in turn, I meet 25 people, and I tell them all about Him, and those 25 people make 25, and all of a sudden a revolution is created, a year or 10 years after I've passed away from whatever sickness. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm not sick, but my point is, pray.
God will use anything.
He uses it's His will.
Important, It's important to find out what His will is.
Yeah.
And if you are praying according to something that you believe is His will, and you believe that you are in Him, and it hasn't happened, just continue on praying.
Yeah.
Then
it's most likely a time frame.
It's
most likely a time frame thing. Then maybe He's waiting for a reason that He wants you in that place for a couple more months or whatever. Or He's getting you ready for that space or that thing.
One last thing that I would strongly recommend. To keep you on the path is to have people that hold you accountable, people that you can turn to for in time when you need help, people that can pray with you, people that can just be honest with you, and strong character people who are like-minded, who are also seeking God's will. That I think that is so important, because you fire each other up. If you have to think about like a campfire. And there's so many logs in the fire, especially when we camped now the last while. The wood was quite wet where we were, and we found that building a small fire, you're fanning it the whole time and you're struggling and it's smoking and it's issue, and then you put more logs on, which sounds counterintuitive because it's more wet wood, and all of a sudden the thing just like blazes up. There's no smoke and there's this big fire, and it's. The same thing applies to Christians. Oftentimes, the more we are, the wise counsel that you surround yourself with will keep you on fire, will keep you on the road that God has for you. Yeah. And in turn, you can help each other.
Yeah. So. And that's the value of going to church. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm not saying the gathering of the saints. It's not that. How do I say it? You are going to get words. You are going to get opportunity to worship. You are going to get opportunity to spend time with them. With each other, but it's that thing. Often you find yourself talking about a topic or an issue that's in your life that came up because you're in that space and the person, like you guys have said, a child. There's someone else who's just had a child recently, or a child that's a year or two older than you. You can say to them, "What did you do?" And I mean that seems like a non-Christian thing or a non-faith thing, but it's not.
No, it's community. We're all helping each other and doing life together.
Exactly. Our faith is who we are, part of who we are. So we can't take that out of it. So absolutely. As I say, you don't have to commit to every service, I fail, you depressed because you missed one because it was your mom's birthday, that kind of thing. But go, engage with others. There's absolute value in that.
Okay. Let us know if you found anything else in your life that that you feel keeps you on the straight and narrow, feels that helps you with your walk with God. And please send it to us in the comments. That'll be great.
And if you are the kind of person who needs superstructure, or put those things in place. Just add that thought.
100%.
If you're the kind of person who needs to get up at 5 o'clock to do it, do that
Yeah.
because the value is still there.
100%.
Value doesn't go anywhere, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I'm not that person, so
yeah.
so yeah.
Lekker.
Cool.
Cool, guys. Yeah, see you in the next one. The next
Yeah, well.
one is our lekker hunting stories and campfire stories, so it's going to be a light-hearted one. But yeah, see you guys there.